Right then, this is a quick walk around video for an absolutely stunning looking car. This is a Lexus IS300 hybrid and it's the F Sport model. Finished in black with a black half leather interior, sat nav, rear camera. Benefits from a full Lexus service history. The car's completed, I think it's 97,000 miles, but I'll check the exact mileage when we get inside. And it is in lovely condition. Front of the car, lights and lenses are clear, intact, no cracks or condensation. You get that wonderful styling on the front end of these cars. I mean, they are just light years ahead of most cars in their class in terms of styling, I have to say. It's just an intriguing car to look at from every angle. Near side of the car, really clean. Obviously the odd tiny little mark which you're going to get on a sort of a car that's done just shy of 100,000 miles, but in all honesty it's very clean indeed. And we've not even washed it. This is exactly how it's come to us. It's got sort of a natural gleam to it. Offside the vehicle, again, lovely and clean. All the alloys are in wonderful condition as well, which is a real rarity actually. Most have been sort of curbed or they've got a bit of pickling, but these are absolutely superb. So externally, looking at the car, it's in really lovely condition. Coming to the back of the car now, you can see there the half leather interior, which I personally prefer. I just find them slightly grippier. It's been kept very well. Coming to the front and the passenger side, again, all very clean and tidy. Coming to the front and driver's side, again, all really nice condition. Driver's seat very good. Only the tiny little bit of entry wear which they commonly get on those, but normally much lower mileage than this. So we're inside the car now. Engine's running through this section so the dash can be seen illuminated. And what a wonderful interior it is. You can see there, sat nav working exactly as it should. Pop the car into reverse, get that lovely clear parking camera, again all working exactly as intended. It's just such an interesting interior to sit in and so well put together as well. There's your dash binnacle there. When you're in eco and normal mode, that's the display you get. If I twist it to the right, and that's what you get when you're in sport mode. Little button down here which I really love. You watch it and listen to this. It's just so satisfying, it really is. It's like nerdy, but it really is a wonderfully interesting interior that works absolutely superbly. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, both here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Lexus IS300 hybrid, and it's the F Sport model. Now, this particular car is registered MV63PBO, and mileage at the start of the road test is 97,050 miles. The reason we do all of our videos is essentially so if anyone's online looking at our car in an advert, they actually get to see the car we're advertising actually in operation. The reason we feel it's important, especially this road test section, is because we've suffered ourselves at going to see cars which have looked perfectly good, but only to get there and find out they've got a fundamental issue that shows up while driving, so hence that's why we do it. So coming to the car itself, wonderful cars, and this drives like a car that's barely turned a wheel. It's just rock solid as Lexus tend to be. Press the power button, whirs into life, generally silently in battery mode. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. And temperature gauge running at just under half, which is exactly where it's meant to be on one of these, and it's been driving for nearly 2.5–3 hours, so clearly up to full operating temperature. If you've not driven one of these cars, I mean, first of all, ignore the fact that all the hybrid electric stuff. In effect, you're just driving a normal car because you're just going to put fuel in it, and that's it. There's no plugging in, there's nothing like that. The hybrid battery recharges itself every time you back off the throttle or apply the brakes, so it does it all for you. What is just astonishing, if you're not been in one of these, is how they drive. They are so slick and smooth. So much so that they really do make conventional cars feel really clumsy, especially at low speed. Manoeuvres where sometimes a car can be kind of caught between two gears This is just absolutely seamless in the way it drives. You have 3 modes of driving available to you. A little button down here, or a knob. If you generally starts in what they call normal mode. If you twist it to the left, I'm now in eco mode, which is noticeably sort of slower, but it's great around town. It really encourages, sort of maximum economy. And if you twist it to the right, you're then into sport mode, and you get a rev counter appear in the middle with kind of a different look to it, and immediately you feel a completely different feel and sound. It's much more urgent, and it works fantastically in all of those modes. It's a wonderful, wonderful car. It runs through a CVT gearbox, which is perfect for this vehicle. It basically means you've got no jarring, there's no gear change, there's no kind of jolting at all. You put your foot down, you kind of head for the horizon. If you're really brutal with them, or hard with them, if you like now, if I put my foot down hard, I can get the engine to pick up, but it just dies back. You just back off the throttle. It's brilliant. You get up to speed, and that's it. It's all over. It's just simply superb, and the gearbox working exactly as it should as well. Steering of the car tracks bullet straight at the legal limit now. There's no vibrations at all coming through the steering. The steering is superb, of course helped by the fact that being rear wheel drive, there's no drive shafts to pollute the steering, so you've got a very nicely weighted, very fluid feel to the steering. It works beautifully with the chassis. It's a lovely car to drive, enthusiastically, or if you're just not in the mood. It rewards in every single way, and it feels absolutely as tight as a drum on the road. The chassis likewise, as I said, it allows the car to glide through corners, beautifully damped, but you get a real sense of driving the car. But what it gives you also is this amazingly compliant ride. It's just so comfortable, but it just eats up miles. It's at home on A or B roads like this, or as on the motorway where it's so refined and quiet. What I'm listening for as I'm driving along, by the way, is any kind of noises coming from underneath the vehicle. It shouldn't be there, any kind of knocking or clattering noise, and there's nothing. It's absolutely solid. Same goes to the brakes. I'm going to give them a bit of a shove, make sure no one's behind me, but really solid brake pedal on the car. Again, what I'm looking for is I don't want to be feeling any kind of pulsing or vibrations coming back through the brake pedal, and there's nothing at all. It's absolutely spot on. Getting inside, the car's just arrived, not been cleaned, but in all honesty, it doesn't even need it. It's been kept absolutely beautifully, and they are sensationally made cars. Not a squeak or a rattle. It feels as though it's made out of rock. It's just a wonderfully put together car. And also, unlike so many of its competitors, it's actually a really engaging and interesting car to sit in. As soon as you get into it, you're in something slightly different, but not different for different sake. It works brilliantly. You've got a nice high-up sat-nav with the rear camera working perfectly. I love the analog Lexus clock in there. I think it's a lovely touch and beautifully detailed as well. Then you've got the controls here for your radio and your climate control system again, but it's the quality of every button with the really, it's just precision made. It's brilliantly done. Heated seats, all working perfectly. Air conditioning pumps out ice cold air. Then you've got your mouse pad here for your upper display and on the screen there, but it's one of those that actually works really rather nicely. The damping of the control is very, very well done. But the texturing and the detailing, the build quality, as I say, is absolutely second to none. It is beautifully done. Dash in front of me is just fantastic because it's so simple. So you got, in this mode at least anyway, I'll go into a normal mode. I've got an eco or power meter in sport and normal. Twisted to the right, as I said, got my rev counter, but that's all you've got. They're flanked by the temperature and fuel gauges and a couple of other bits of information, but no more. However, if you press this little button here, on the side, it then frees up an extra display on the left hand side, which you don't have to have on the screen, and it sounds fantastic, as I mentioned in the walk around video. It's genius, absolute genius. I adore these cars, absolutely love them, but my bias doesn't sort of get in the way of being subjective in terms of kind of, you know, what I'm looking for on these road tests. And the car drives as new. And I hate saying that because it is an absolute cliche, but it is entirely true and merited in this case. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate, do give us a call.